This is Mr. D, your teacher that games, and we're taking a look at the patch notes that just released with Duraludon. Very excited to see what they had. I heard that these patch notes were pretty good, so I'm going to give my 2 cents and see what they have here. So first off, of course, they added Duraludon. Now, the first change that they list is Blastoise Rapid Spin has a move upgrade, but apparently this move upgrade is more referring to Spout, which is one of Blastoise's other moves. That Spout now lasts the entire duration of Rapid Spin, so it's more of an upgrade to Water Spout and making that more of a desirable pick with Rapid Spin. I think that's a welcome change, nothing game-changing there. Now with Mr. Mime, they changed Guard Swap. The way that Guard Swap works now is it creates a permanent link between you, Mr. Mime, and an ally Pokemon as long as you remain in range of each other. It actually swaps the defensive stats from Mr. Mime to your ally, and you both get a movement speed increase. That's pretty strong for being a permanent link as long as you're close enough together. But this is definitely the change that is very welcome and definitely needed. Confusion deals less damage. They definitely needed to nerf Mr. Mime. It got kind of a powerhouse for support. A little too much damage, if you ask me. And then with Psychic, they changed it so Mr. Mime can actually keep moving and or attack. I'm not 100% certain, but movement is now more of a thing during Psychic. He doesn't like self-stun while doing that move. Now these changes, I'm not exactly sure why they did it. Cramorant is hardly played. I don't really see it that much. And I am not sure whether they must have some statistics or data that I obviously don't have, but I'm curious to hear what their reasoning is behind this. So first off, they changed Dive quite a bit. So Dive deals a lot less damage, but Cramorant will now have an auto attack that deals boosted damage after coming up from the dive. So I think they're trying to steer more toward the auto attack version of Cramorant. But that's the change. I don't know if the damage will actually balance out or anything like that. We'll have to see. And then Air Slash actually had a cooldown increase. So again, I'm not 100% certain what their reasoning behind that is because I don't see anyone play Cramorant. So with Aurora Veil, Ninetales actually leaps to his designated location, which is great because now Ninetales has some mobility that's huge. So Ninetales can use that to escape or to engage. That's big. And what happens now is Ninetales, there's a veil that's placed around it and other allied Pokemon where they have movement speed increase and damage reduction. And this is the big one. Ninetales attacks are now always boosted and will restore HP to Ninetales. That's pretty big. I wouldn't be surprised if I see Ninetales picked up a little bit more with an auto attack build. So that seems pretty strong. Good changes though. And Lucario, the punch dog, is finally nerfed. I don't know if it's enough. I personally don't think it's enough, but one could pray. Lucario is the most popular Pokemon in the game right now. Played at like all levels, almost in like all lanes. The nerf needed to happen, but I still don't think it's enough. Especially since they only focused on one move, Close Combat. Damage decrease and health restoration decrease. Still not enough, I don't think. And then Greedent. Now, I'm kind of sad by these changes because I actually really love playing Greedent, but I agree with them. So, movement speed, that stat's been reduced. Move a little more slowly. That makes sense because he's a big guy. And then Tackle, the cooldown has been increased, which I actually am okay with that one. That one makes sense to me because the whole point of playing Greedent is to play around the berries that you have stored. And you can reduce the cooldown on Tackle by a lot by the berries that you have. So I think this makes the player focus more on the berries that they have and, you know, play around the actual character. So I'm okay with that change. Now, defense curl effects are weakened, so I'm assuming that means that the shield is just smaller. Okay, Elebagos, definitely one of the top tier picks when it comes to supports. Very effective Pokemon. Now, with Cotton Guard, the definitely more picked move out of the two, like, AoE healing abilities. The effect is only lessened on Elebagos, which I think is a good move. Elebagos has to play a little more safe, but the healing ability on the rest of the team won't be weakened, so Elebagos will still be very potent, especially since the Unite move will actually have a faster charge rate, so yeah, I think Elebagos will be just fine after this. And now, finally, Decidueye. Oh, the buffs we've been waiting for, but I don't know if they're the buffs that we want, because they buffed Spirit Shackle, which in my opinion is already the better move. Like, I don't get it. They needed to buff Leaf Storm, I think, and a couple of the other ones. But regardless, they buffed the damage. Any change to help Decidueye get a little stronger is always welcome. Decidueye is just outclassed by like every other attacker in the game right now, so there's like no point in picking Decidueye. And then Knock Knock. I also don't think this is a change that will help. Damage increase. I think they need to have the Unite move pierce and hit multiple targets. Like, pierce through everything. Like, that's what needs to have to happen. Like, I don't get it. Okay, now this change, maybe Volt Switch isn't the move that Zeraors pick, but I see plenty of Zeraors in the games I play, and Zeraor never seems to struggle to make an impact on the game. Seems like a totally fine Pokemon in terms of balance, so I'm not really sure why they buffed Zeraora, but I mean, it doesn't seem too big of a deal, so I don't know, we'll see. Now, Trevenant, a defender, also kind of like Decidueye, just outclassed by like every other defender in the game. Not a very strong pick, so these are definitely good changes. Movement speed went up, and then Wood Hammer doesn't do as much damage to Trevenant, but also stuns opponents for longer, so very good change. And then Pain Split actually deals more damage. The percentages went up by like about 3% at all HP thresholds for the opponent, so a good change. Serena, like, I don't think Serena needed any buffs. This is another Pokemon that I see like all the time. Very solid Pokemon, strong pick, plenty of damage, survivability. I don't get it. So the stat they increased, it's just a stat increase, but from what I read, the stat increase is actually the lifesteal off Serena. So more survivability. I guess that was needed. I don't think it was, but what do I know? And then Drop Kick and Stomp are not the picked moves. So they're buffing those to try and encourage players to, you know, move away from Triple Axle. I can understand why they're doing that, but again, Serena doesn't need any buffs. Gengar is a solid pick in the right hands, but I think these buffs are okay. I'm not too worried about them. The special attack stat will go up by 30 per level. That's what the stat increased at level up means. Apparently, Gengar starts with, or Ghastly starts with 30 special attack, which is a very low number. So that's a good change. And then the damage increase for the boost attack, that's not a huge jump in numbers. Maybe it is. It doesn't look that big to me, so I think it'll be okay. And then everyone saw this coming. I said this was going to happen in my first impressions video on Hoopa. Like, duh. Like, everyone knew it was going to happen. So for Hoopa, Shadow Ball damage decreased. That was my pick every game. I loved Shadow Ball way more than the other one. So yeah, that was needed. Hyperspace Hole cooldown increased. That was also needed. I felt like Hyperspace Hole was up like way too much, especially with its teleporting prowess and what it offered to the game. Like, cooldown was definitely needed. Hoopa still has, I think, in my opinion, the most impactful Unite move in the entire game. So the damage reduction to the moves of Unbound Hoopa, like that's a good call. These nerfs were definitely the right call. Aegislash, a couple bug fixes, I think was his Unite move. And then Slow Smoke. Okay, cooldown lengthened from 40 seconds to 45, so you have to be a little more careful about when you use it. But 5 seconds isn't really that big of a deal. But they also reduced the effect, the slow effect. So, of course, they don't give like a specific number or anything. But that was also a good change. I think that's a good nerf. I mean, I don't know the reduction in the slow. If they like reduce it to like 30, then that's not enough. I don't know. I wish they would say. But Slow Smoke was definitely like top tier item. Like, and it still will be really good, but it's just not going to be so overpowering. So good change. Overall, these patch notes, very, very good. However, there's a couple changes that I just don't know if I agree with. So I'm actually going to give this a B. Let me know in the comments down below what you think of these patch notes and whether you agree with my opinion or not. Also, make sure you like and subscribe for more Pokemon Unite content. But other than that, class is adjourned.